All right, Representative Pearson.
Thank you, Speaker. I am pretty upset that this wasn't even discussed to be sent back to committee. I didn't even know House floor amendments were something folks here were supportive of. So I'm a little shocked that we're actually debating on whether or not to vote for this instead of sending this back to committee, because time after time I've heard after amendments get added, it goes back to the committee before it gets heard on this floor. And so if someone can explain how this is even happening today. The second problem that I have is we have talked a lot about parental grief in this chamber as it relates to gun violence and the Mothers at Covenant and Mothers Over Murder and people who have come here advocating for different types of legislation, whether it be autopsies or red flag laws. But when it is coming to the grief of this beloved black family, of Mr. Rodney Wells and Mrs. Rovon Wells, Mrs. Rovon Wells' son was killed by Memphis Police Department in January of last year. The community spoke up. The community organized and galvanized and rallied. This same community that you were saying you spoke to write this legislation. Our community rose up and spoke up. They went to their local government, their locally elected officials, and said, here are some things that would have helped Tyree Nichols to be alive today. And instead of this body saying, this is what we want from our constituents, for them to be engaged in the democratic process, for them to advocate for the things that they believe are going to make them safer, that they believe are going to improve the quality of life. But instead of doing that up here, you as a person who lives in Shelby County seek to undo the will of the people of Memphis and Shelby County. You saw the Wells family, spoke with them briefly, told them this bill wouldn't come up until probably next Thursday. So they said, well, we won't come up and try and lobby our Republican legislators, try and lobby our people in Shelby County to change this in order for it to be in a better posture. But instead, you are here before us today on a bill that should be going back to committee, having lied to them. You did.
Representative Pearson, Representative Pearson. Representative Todd, what's the objection?
The representative has impugned a member by saying he's lying. He is out of order.
Mr. Clerk? Well, the situation is Mr. Clerk, you want to explain it so that they could be a little bit more clear?
Mr. Speaker, under Rule 19, the Speaker or any member may call a member to order. The member may sit down, or if the member wishes to proceed and there's an appeal, then the body will vote.
Chairman Clemens? All right.
Mr. Clerk, I appeal the call to order pursuant to the rules.
That's a proper motion, probably second. Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Speaker, the member has been called to order pursuant to Rule 19. There is an appeal. Now the body will decide whether the member shall continue or not.
A aye vote, yes vote is for the member to continue with their allotted time. A no vote does not allow to continue on their allotted time. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, take the vote.
Ayes 25, 66 nays.